Chase Media, and this morning I'm lucky enough to be in conversation with Jack from Piston. Good morning, Jack. How are you?
Good morning, mate. I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good. In these crazy, strange times, it's nice to chat into the outside world,
Yes,
and
I
find
agree.
out what everybody else is up to and stuff like that, So how's it been for you?
To be honest, last year was so full on. In terms of we had like 4 tours. The album was recorded. It was just so crazy full on. I've actually welcomed this a little bit because obviously I do a lot of the management and stuff, and Pete at Noble PR does our press. So I've actually welcomed this bit of a break. To be honest, for us, it's gave us a nice break to just get ourselves back together, because I think it would have been very hard on the band if we would have had to write a new album and continue touring. So we've took some time off, started writing a new album, and just sort of had a breather for a little bit, because I think we all needed it. It was very full on because we're all working lads, you see, so we have to we don't have any record label funding, or so everything through Piston is funded by the 5 members in the band, and there's only as 5 working class lads, there's only so far you can take it without needing to go and get your brass again and then put it back into the band. So if anything, it's been a nice holiday. It sucks that we've lost some gigs, but most of them have been moved over to next year. We're thankful that all the really big shows have been moved over to next year now. So if anything, we've got a really busy year next year, and we can just sort of plan ahead. The only drawback, I think, for that is that any new tour, there's going to be new tours announced, but it's just going to be overwhelmed with shows, and I think that could be a little bit of a drawback as well, because all of them tours are going to be locked in from this year. So I think a lot of bands, including us and everyone in our circle, apart from the shows that we're in for this year, moved up to next year, it's going to be a little difficult to get some new tours for next year, I think, because everything's going to really be locked in. But as it stands, we're writing a new album. We had rehearsal yesterday, and that's where we're at now.
That's good. I mean, as I say, obviously your album's done phenomenally well. It's been very well reacted to by lots of different people, and obviously you're now on Planet Rock's playlist, which is a nice, it's a nice kind of, if you like, kind of end. I know the album is only, it's been out a year, but it's a nice kind of end that you'll get recognition, and as I say, you've played some gig, nice big gigs, Collateral and people like that, and Glenn Hughes and the Cult and stuff, and these are phenomenal acts to play with to get your sound out there, which is great, and a lot of people say, oh, it's been great for these 4 or 5 months because we're writing and we're kind of back in the studio, and I guess that's a good thing for you guys. Like you said, you've had your little bit of a holiday, if you like, it's a holiday if you like, and now it's back to the hardness of going in and looking at the new stuff, preparing for next year. And I guess you're right that I think that whenever the tours start, there'll be a gig on every night somewhere in the country from every band that's not played this year.
It's going to be very, very busy, very busy. I know that much. So it's a blessing and a curse as well. I mean, like I always try to look for the positive of things. The drawback is that a lot of these shows are going to be locked in because everything's going to be moved over from this year to next. But on the plus side is that hopefully people can start getting out and they're going to start enjoying gigs more, and we can get back to a sense of normality. Like we've got, it's great that we sort of held off on Let Us Rise. We had it all remixed and everything has been redone, so it sounds huge. It sounds incredible. The track on the album, that's got a certain sound to it. That's Let Us Rise. The album's got a certain sound to match the album. This one has got like real big production, so that's coming out. It's coming out tomorrow, the 14th. So I'm glad that we got a music video for it. That was filmed a little while back, so everything we were just sort of sat on it, waiting for the right time to release. And I'm glad that we didn't rush into that. So we've got a nice release. We're on the main playlist for Planet Rock, and that started. So it starts quite. So when you get put on the main playlist, it starts quite gradual. So this week they've been playing us at like 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock in the morning, or 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And then eventually the plays get heavier and heavier and heavier up until the point when you play throughout the day pretty much.
Yeah, so and that's obviously good for you as well. That the recognition's coming. you know, from the track, that the more airplay it gets, the more people want to hear it, the more that they want to get you out there, you know, which is for you guys is just a great achievement.
I'm gonna sneeze. My hay fever's killing me today. It's been great. It's been really, really good. Really, really good. We're happy with it. Everything's ready to go for tomorrow. And it was just good that we had this time off as well to prep for it. So it's really
yeah. As I say, I'm hoping that I'll probably get the press release for it the next day or two. So I'll be reviewing that and sticking it back on the website. Because I did the review of the single on Tuesday. I think we got it on Tuesday morning at 10 o'clock, and I think I had it out by 12. You know, so obviously to get you guys out there and get you guys a bit more notoriety, which is good, you know, because you're a cracking little band. You've got lots of good sounds in you, which is fantastic, you know, and it just keeps the momentum going. How's the rest of the boys? Are they the same? Are they kind of going a bit nuts for lockdown, or is it just?
Well, I see everyone. Our band's a little unconventional because our singer lives down south, so we don't see Rob as much.
That's not his fault.
No,
that's not his fault.
So he lives down south, and we all rehearse together as a 4-piece unit, and then we get together like once, 2, 3 times a month or whatever. We've got shows, and then we start rehearsing with Rob and get everything together. But they're all okay. I think it started to. A lot of us have managed to carry on working throughout all of this. So, like, I teach guitar, and Brad's a barber. But Brad couldn't work, but Luke, who works at One Stop, could. I could, and Iggy, who's a bass player, he could as well. So, sorry. So yeah, he could as well. So
yeah, so you kind of kept a bit of normality, which is nice, you know. So obviously next year you've got the big Bad Touch tour.
That'd be cool. We like Bad Touch. They're great friends of ours, and that's a good tour for us to sort of just keep going. You know, while it's a good tour to have, and we're excited. It's sort of for us, it's a less of a real serious tour like the Cult tour or a Glenn Hughes tour, or whatever. This is just about having a party with our mates and just having a real good time.
Yeah, going out and playing good rock and roll and getting smashed at the end of it.
Yeah, that's it.
which is always nice to do, you know. And obviously you get to visit nice places, and I think you get to keep in touch with the fans as well, who kind of support you and will maybe message you from time to time. And you go to Glasgow or Birmingham or London or Manchester, and someone in the crowd, oh yeah, you messaged me a couple of days ago, and it's great because the fans like to keep in touch with you, you know, and kind of let you know they're still here, you know.
Well, this is the 3rd time this tour has been rescheduled. So if it doesn't happen this time, then I think it's never. So like, it was scheduled for March this year. Obviously that went down. Then it got rescheduled to September, October. That went down, and then if this is the 3rd time it's been rescheduled.
Yeah. So let's hope it's 3rd time lucky.
I hope so.
Because obviously, what's your thoughts on, just say if it does get rescheduled? Would you be happy just to let it reschedule, or would you hopefully try and do music of your own somewhere else? Because I know that it's nice to be on tour with with another band, but if it's going to, and I don't mean hamper you, but it's going to, you know, kind of put you back a little bit, would you rather go out and do something on your own again, or?
Well, the original plan was for this year is that we were going to do the Bad Touch tour, and then we were going to go out and do, we were going to record a couple of new singles, and then we were going to go out on tour and do our own headline tour, and we were going to do like 4 or 5 dates and just pack them out, sell them out, and do it that way. Obviously, that's probably going to be moved over to next, probably 2022 when we have a new album out. So I think, well, we might have a new album out by 2021. We're definitely going to spend the rest of this year writing it, and then that will come out either late next year or early 2022. Because
how far with the album are you? Have you got a number of tracks laid down, or have you got just rough stuff?
Yeah, we've got 4 or 5 tracks that are all demoed up, ready to go. They sound great. It's a little different sound. We're going for sort of what sound we going for? White Stripes meets Rival Sons sort of sound.
Okay, a bit of smoothy groove with a good hard punch, like a.
Yeah, I mean, like our last album was very Foo Fighters meets the Call, you know.
Yes.
So this one has been so we're going to just try and take it in a different direction. So we're looking at sort of producers that we're going to work with. We've got, like I say, we've got 4 or 5 tracks done, and all ready to go. We just need to we're just going to keep carrying on writing. I've been writing a lot, so everything. I've been listening to a lot of Liam Gallagher, so I hope that doesn't come
All
out.
right. Okay. And what's the slant on that? Is it just you like his style? Is it just how he comes across, or is it just
I,
another direction for you yourself?
I like him as a frontman, because to me that Oasis and him, well, he was the last real rock and roll frontman we ever had. I mean, I couldn't recall proper rock stars that have been since then. Like ones that really took over the world and were just full on rock stars and just didn't care.
In your face. There's not been a lot of them about. I don't think since you're probably right. Since Liam Gallagher, you know, you look at your Rolling Stones guys from the 60s and 70s and what have you, and he's obviously came in the 90s and just took over and just been a bit of a badass. And you're right. I don't think there's been anybody since then. So maybe you're it. Maybe you're the new Liam Gallagher. Maybe you're just going to take over from next year.
I'll get a Parker jacket or whatever he wears, and that'll be my stage outfit. I don't think that's very good impression.
Shirt and sort about with your pretty green t-shirt with your swag. All good, Jacks. All good.
But for me, they were the last true rock stars. To be honest, I don't know. I don't know any other band that really took over the world that way. In my opinion, like we've had the Greta Van Fleets, and you know we've had the Rival Sons. I love Rival Sons, one of my favourite bands. But the through and through rock stars, like rock and roll lifestyle, I don't know anyone that's really
no one since them, I don't think. And you know, it would be nice if someone could maybe emulate that, and obviously that's maybe what you're looking to do with your writing style and how you play the guitar, which is great because I think you're right to bring another dynamic, you know, that maybe no one's ever seen before.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not saying that that's going to come out in our tracks. I've been listening to a lot of Liam Gallagher, and I've took a few things and I made it my own. And how it comes out, we haven't started working on them ideas yet. So how it comes out in the band, it might sound great, it might sound terrible. So I can't comment more on that because it might.
You can get a haircut or no, Jack. You get a haircut.
Or bring the idea to the band and they're like, we're not playing that. I was like, okay, you know.
I guess it's just, I think it's right when you have a dynamic album that you guys had. I think when you're trying to, you know, maybe, and it's not reinventing the wheel. I think you're just looking for another sound. I think it's always nice to try and demo stuff out. And as you say, some of the guys might go, "Nah, I'm not playing that," or "I'm not singing that. It's just not me." But I guess it's how you put the spin on it when you write. You know.
Absolutely. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just I think you're right though. I think there'll be maybe lots more bands coming out and they'll be putting new ideas out there to try and not essentially be better than the other bands, but I think because people have been in kind of, if you like, isolation for so long, you know, they've got millions of ideas. Lots of people have said, you know, that I've been interviewing. This has been great. You know, I see that at the time I've been sitting around. You know, my creative juice is flowing. I've been writing stuff and I've been getting riffs going and all the rest of it. And a lot of people have said I haven't even picked up a guitar in 3 months. So I guess it affects everybody differently. You know, and how
I think
people follow.
Yeah, I think it's had some major this lockdown for people that do suffer with mental health. I think it's had some major implications, and I think it's been quite difficult for a lot of people. Luckily, I don't suffer with that, and I've just managed to keep myself busy. And I think part of that is because I can still teach all my students, and because I just teach online now, to people's houses. So I've managed to keep a sense of normality, but I can definitely see how, you know, lockdown can just sort of, and I've seen it firsthand, like how it can have a real effect on people. So we've just tried to stay busy. You know, we've all just tried to stay as busy as we can, keep writing and just practicing a hell of a lot. And that's me. You know, that's just what I do.
Yeah, I think it's great, and I think I think a lot of people saying that the new normal, you know, like the social distancing and, you know, teaching people at home or working from home and, you know, doing your job and reporting to your peers on a video screen. I think this is the new way until there is a vaccine or a cure, you know, and I think that hopefully people will start to return to normality. On myself, unfortunately, I got made redundant week by last Friday. So basically, I'm just like reviewing every day from like at 7 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night. You know, I review albums and I interview and I do CDs and videos every single day, Jack. You know, so I'm very lucky that I get to do a job that I love. You know, there's some people that sit here and go, Christ, I'm suffering and there's no way out. And I think that's a real shame. It's a real shame, you know, and obviously guys like yourselves who are musicians and still manage to play and record and you know, and jam with each other keeps you guys sane as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what does suck is a lot of the roadies and the techs and everyone that have lost, because the live industry was absolutely booming at the height of what it's ever been, and then obviously they've all lost their jobs and stuff. And I've seen that they've been campaigning to bring live music events back for this year, which I don't quite agree with. I don't think it's safe, and I think people, as much as I want them guys to be, you know, reimbursed for everything they've lost, I think it's in my personal opinion, I'm not a politician, I'm not political or anything. I don't think that's a good idea to bring 16,000 people back into an arena. You know, I just don't.
No. I guess you're right. I think you need to try and do it when it's safe. I think you need to try and do it when everybody is in agreement. You know, someone says, look, we're opening up the Birmingham Arena tonight, and we're going to bring in Piston for a one-off gig, and it holds 20,000. Let's do it. And people go, yeah, let's do it. And probably 2 or 3 weeks after, you get, you know, COVID cases rising or people being sick or whatever, and you think, yeah, we made a bit of money, but is it worth it? And I don't think it is. You know, there is lots of arguments for people going, yeah, let's bring music back. And obviously, there's lots of people been posting about that social distance gig in Newcastle with the 2 metre square. It's like a podium for 5 people.
I think that's going to. I just don't see that working. Because you get a few at our gigs, you know, like especially if we played in our hometown, there's no way people would be so.
Yeah, absolutely. Not staying home. I'm going out to see the guys, and that's where the problem starts. And I guess they're trying to do the right thing by let's do the socially distancing platforms for 5 people, or the drive-ins, you know, with 5 people in a car for 100 quid or 200 quid or 150 quid. But I guess you want to feel the sweat dripping off the roof.
Yeah.
You want to feel the spit coming from you guys. You want to feel the energy, and I don't think you can do that either in a big bubble or on a 2 metre platform when you're 200 feet away. You know, you don't get. Yeah, you can sing and all this, but I don't think you get the same vibe as being in a small, sweaty room with you guys rocking your heart out and people going, I really enjoyed that. I think you would come away with it. Yeah, you get your merch and go, yeah, I saw Piston last night, look at my T-shirt, brilliant. But I didn't really enjoy it because there's no, I don't think that the interaction is there. You know, you 5 guys are up there and you're doing your bit. You're rocking out, but the people are thinking it's not the same. And I guess I can get where you're coming from with that. You know, it's
that makes it very. I can imagine if that is the way it's going to go, which I don't think it will. I think everything from this year will be moved. I don't think there'll be any live events happening this year, big live events.
Yeah.
I think everything will be moved over to next year, to get everything safe, and just to make sure there isn't this second wave that they're talking about. And then I think we can get back to some sense of normality. I wouldn't want to, as much as I love playing. And I love playing live. I wouldn't enjoy playing a gig where, you know, the people who are paying to see us can't have a few beers, because, you know, if we play in our hometown, that venue's bouncing, like people are hammered and they're jumping up and down and they're screaming and they're going mad, and that's what I love to see, and I think that won't be the same. That won't give us the same kind of buzz, I don't think, if you don't have that. And I think as we're a band that thrives off the audience as well. We always have been. So we if the audience doesn't give us much back, then it becomes a very different show as it would be if the audience compared to if the audience are going crazy, then the band really gets pumped up. We're like we're not a studio band, we're a live band, and we always have.
And I guess as well, after the show, the guys want to come up and hug you and get a picture and, you know, high five you and things like this. And you kind of think you can't do that either. So it doesn't become a real event because you can't, you know, physically thank the fans for coming out and spending their hard-earned cash to see you guys rocking out. And I guess that's another part of it, because you want to thank these guys for, you know, for buying the records, buying the merch, and you can't say virtual 5-5 or virtual hugger, and you kind of think it's not the same. You know, it's just not the same.
Yeah, it's a strange dynamic. I'm sure things will go back to normal, though. I don't want to be too sort of down about it, because at the end of the day, I think we're going to get a lot of good music. I think we're going to get a lot of good albums, and we're going to get a lot of good shows as well. And I think if anything, it's probably would have made all these bands and the musicians better, because we're going to be playing better. We're going to be, you know, more. Just I think in tune with ourselves, really, because
I kind of guess what you don't want. You don't want bands to just rush out there and say, "I've got a chance to play a gig, let's do it," and you don't sound great, or because you've not practiced, or because the sound wasn't the best. And I guess that's the other side of it, where people go, you know, I went to see the boys last night and they just weren't good. And then you kind of think, you know, if you'd waited another couple of months and, you know, got the sound right, got the band together, made tight, and did 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 rehearsals, it would have been much better. And I guess there's a bit of that as well, because people just want to, you know, get live music. You know, the live stream stuff is really cool when you get to see people and you can do a wee bit of interaction, you can put some money in their tip jar and stuff. But I guess there's nothing beats live, going out and seeing someone, you know, doing the thing that you've worked so hard for. And I guess that there's a difference in that. I think you're right, with lots of people who will agree, lots of people who will disagree, you know, on where do we go, you know, when is it safe, how do we get out there. And I guess there's just no answer at the moment. I guess it's just, you have to wait and see. And as you say, you've got this other tour, hopefully third time lucky. But you know, it's one of those suck it and see moments to think that when it's safe. But you know, like you said earlier on, do we know what's going to be safe? You know, and that's the hard part, Jack. You know, that's the real hard part.
I'm excited for next year, though, because we're a band and we figured this out. You can rehearse as much as you want. You can rehearse in that rehearsal room for as many hours or as many whatever. It's not the same as playing live and getting your chops up live. And we experienced this last year. So, you know, when we did the Collateral tour, we did like a co-headline with them, and then we went out with Gorilla Wright and Hannah Wickland. Then we went out with the Cult. Then we went out with Glenn Hughes, and then we went out, did a show with Phil Campbell of Motorhead, and then we did our own headline show, and then we were done. So that we did like a lot of shows last year and festival appearances as well.
Yeah.
So, but we find as a band that you know, if we're playing back to back every single night, or we have like 4 nights on and 4 nights off, we get really like there's not many people that, in my opinion, obviously I'm biased, there ain't many like in terms of energy. I just don't believe it. When we're on that sort of, you know, when we're on that back to back, and which is what's really cool about next year, is that pretty much all these shows from February onwards are all going to be back to back. So people are going to be seeing us, like, not like we're going in, no shows, just sort of going in cold. We're going to be like absolutely on fire.
Yeah.
And that's you know, so by the time we were playing with the Court and we were playing with Glenn Hughes, we had that set nailed so much that you know, the crowd loved it. So and we were very happy with our performances, because I'm terrible for, you know, critiquing the band, and I give people a hard time, and that's probably why a few arguments and stuff. But we try and be the best, you know, and we try to be the best that we can be. And when we have shows that are back to back, in my opinion, I just don't think there's many bands that can touch us, to be honest.
But I guess what you're saying, though, that with that jacket, it's about the passion. You know, you're critiquing because you're passionate. If you get up on stage and you go, yeah, I'm just taking your money, I don't really give a shit, doesn't matter, then it would just become a run-of-the-mill normal thing every day. But I guess that if you're up there and you're hearing your sound's not right and you try and perfect it, then you go, if we did this different, if we did that different, people might react more. And I guess it's nice that way, because you're just wanting to make your sound better and you want to make the people enjoy you more. And I guess when you do critique, it's nice. Some people, your band members might not like it, but you know what? It's good, because at least there's someone in there who cares enough to hone your sound to make it better. Because, do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm really excited for next year, to be honest. I am really excited, and I know this year's been tough on everybody. And hats off to like bands like Massive Wagons who have released their album, did really well. They're actually them and Those Damn Crows. I really like them bands. I think they've got a great sound, and I think for a while there was everyone sort of sounded the same for a while, and people that sort of got I'm probably going to dig myself a right hole here, and people are going to come back and bite me on the arse.
Maybe if you record the Jack, so people will go, I'm rewinding that back to see what he said there.
But I think for a while, like a lot of bands were copying like what was sort of popular at the time, and not really sort of honing their own sound. And it was a breath of fresh air to hear a band like Massive Wagons and Those Damn Crows, and obviously see them do really well, because I think they have got their own sound, and that was really good to see. That was because I think it's actually quite inspiring for all the other bands as well, because including us, because it goes to show that you can get your own sound. You don't need to sound like somebody else to get a record deal, or you don't need to sound like anybody else to sort of sell out your shows. You can do it yourself as long as you're good. And I think that was really nice to see, because for a while, in my opinion, for a lot of years, a lot of them bands, they were just copying the sounds of like the arena bands, and they were just sort of piggybacking on their sound. And Piston has never been that. We never wanted to be that at all. So we've always strived really hard to not sound like anybody else. And obviously you do, like that there are times when you go, oh, that sounds a little similar to that, because you do take inspiration from people. But as a whole, we've always tried very hard to make the band have its own sound.
Wholesome sound, yeah, which is good. But I think that the British rock scene just now, metal scene, new wave of British metal, is doing really well. I think they're producing a lot of cool bands. You know, some that have just came out, yourselves and Those Damn Crows, and and the Wagons and Stone Broken and all these bands who are coming out and they're doing extremely well. And I think they're keeping the flag flying. And I think you're right that when you get bands, some of them try and copy. But I guess that the whole point is, I think the British metal scene just now is booming. And I think you're right when we talk about the start of the conversation, that it was booming, it was great, and then obviously it's went in a real downer. And I think next year they'll come back stronger than ever, and I think that'll be a real buzz.
Yeah, I mean, I think these things have to happen. Obviously this didn't have to happen, but like something can't just be going incredibly well for forever. Like there has to be a point of when it dips off. People have to reevaluate everything, rebuild the model, and then just make it stronger. Because, and I think that would have, unfortunately, it's happened. But it's the same for any industry, like the record industry or whatever it is. It might go down, and things do plummet, and there's people lose their jobs, and it's terrible. But at the end of the day, things will get better, and things do get stronger, and that will just rebuild. I do believe that, and I'm trying not to. There's a lot of people that I see sort of online and stuff, and they're very sort of Debbie Downers, and they're going crazy about it. And at the end of the day, it will be better. We will come back stronger. The gigs will be happening, and I think we'll be back to. I do think we'll be able to get back to normal at some point.
Yeah, I do hope so. Now, listen, Jack, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. I know you've got your guitar lesson, but when you do come to Glasgow, look me up. We'll grab a beer, and we'll chat about this interview when it goes out worldwide to everybody, and we'll be listening to your thoughts and your views, and hopefully just try and catch up when you get back on the road.
Of course. Well, I think we're playing. Are you in Glasgow?
Yes, we are. I am. Yes.
So we're playing Glasgow with Bad Touch. So just give me a nudge, and we'll pop you and whoever you come with on the guest list, and you can.
Fantastic, Jack. You're a star. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for your time. This is Darren from Jace Media in conversation with Jack from Piston, talking all things music. And stay safe and be good.
Thank you, mate. Thank you very much.
Take it easy, mate.
See you later, mate.
Cheers, bud.